What up, y'all? It's SB Global. Sitting here with the legendary producer, performer, rapper, entertainer, writer from Ruthless Records and Above the Law, Mr. Code 187, a.k.a. Big Hutch. What's up, fam?
What's up, fam? Thanks for having me, SB.
Man, thank you for coming, brother.
Brother, you know, back at chilling, you know what I mean, amongst the real people out here on the planet. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
L.A.
Right, man.
You put me out there thanks to Apartment 107 for putting me out there, you know, back to the planet at L.A., man. You know, it feels great to be back, man, you know, back in people's faces. So definitely thanks for bringing me on.
Well, you're definitely looking good, man. You're looking like new money. You're looking like the last time you went platinum, you know what I mean?
I like that, man. You know, platinum stays. Golden platinum stays. So, I'm glad to be back in that form, brother.
You guys definitely went gold, though. Yeah, man. What albums went gold?
First three. Living Like Hustlers, Black Mafia Life, and Uncle Sam's Curse is on its way. But, you know, Uncle Sam's Curse got actually put off the shelves when it was re-released. So,
and why was that?
It had a lot to do with a lot of the publishing issues with some samples that was on it. It went through a big lawsuit, and they pulled all the stuff off that had certain samples until the samples were cleared, as far as who was supposed to go through publishing and all that.
Now, Uncle Sam's Curse, that's the album with Black Superman. Yeah. Wow. Mm-hmm. Was that the particular track that had the sample issue?
It was one of them. It was one of them. Yeah. It was,
wow. What was the sample on that?
It was Funky Worm by Ohio Players. Yeah.
Man, Ohio Players mad at that, man?
Well, no, I think what they were going through with their publishing had an issue with it. So when it was switching over, they just pulled everything, you know, that it had anything to do with that. So
right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They didn't have a problem because we cleared it.
Right.
We already had cleared it. But I guess when it switched over, it went through some kind of dispute, like some kind of lawsuit between them and the publishers or something. And the publishers had the issue, not Ohio Players.
I'm trying to hear Funky Worm, and I don't even hear
backwards.
Wow.
It's a breakdown backwards. That's the whole thing. I spent it, and it's bent backwards. I was supposed to get rid of it, but I reported it. So
you could have got away with it.
I was supposed to get away with it. You know how it go.
Right.
In the
man.
field.
Okay, so listen, man. Like I told the people from the beginning, man, rapper, writer, producer. Yeah. A lot of people don't even know that you're a producer.
Oh, yeah.
Amazingly enough.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's possible, but some people aren't aware that.
Well, I think it's like that because, you know, I came up in an era where producers didn't get that kind of light. You know what I mean? They kind of they just did the gig and you know what I mean? And the job was the job, basically.
Yeah, you wouldn't tag in the tracks.
No, nobody tagging the tracks. So this person did the beat, this person did the rhymes, this person, you know, here and there they would, you know. But overall, you had to read the liner notes back then. You had to just read the album, back of the albums, and learn who wrote the songs, who produced, who played this, who did that. You know, who shot who
right.
You know what I mean?
That was all part of the album buying process. To sit there and read the credits as you let it play all the way from number one to the end.
And so for me, I think the strong point for me, which was good, is that I always looked at it like from the artist perspective. It was cool because, like, you know how when you, from a producer's perspective, you can come in from a production. I came in from an artist that produces. You know, so it was cooler. You know what I mean?
You were like Dr. Dre in reverse.
Yeah, exactly. So it wasn't like, exactly. I came in as an artist first, but I could produce. You know? So for me, it was cooler because I never really wanted the production shine. I kind of was like, it's like the team. You know, the team's supposed to shine. The product is supposed to shine.
Right.
That's what I was looked at. I was like, okay, so whatever work I got to put in as being that team player with the crew, that was my part. So I never really looked at extra production shine from it. It's just like, okay, it's going to make me dope. It's going to make us, one, be more efficient as a group to have our own in-house producer.
Right.
Two, it's going to make the product be like one lock. You know what I mean? We don't have to try to interpret it to some outside entity, you know?
Yeah, the vibe always felt the same even as it progressed. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that was the advantage that you guys had, and you being the sole producer pretty much for Above the Law.
Yeah.
You produced Living Like Hustlers, right?
Yeah, I produced Living Like Hustlers. Only thing that Dre helped me produce was the last song, Freedom of Speech, Kicking Lyrics, and everything else, I just bought my crates of records, and how I wanted to program, because I already had programmed it at a 8 and a 16 track, and he just helped me bump everything up to 24 track, and then we laid it all out and made it sound professional. Because at that time it was at the demo stage.
Okay,
but I had it all laid out for us. The production was laid out already.
So, tell me, what was the whole beginning of it for you guys? Like, how did you start recording music and producing and writing and making demos?
I come from a musical family. My pops was a writer and a composer at Motown. My uncle's Willie Hutch.
Yeah.
My other uncle was Jerry B. Long, which is Cocaine's dad. So
yeah, you said at Motown, didn't they write "I'll Be There" for the Jackson 5?
I'll Be There. How Funky Is Your Chicken? Wrote for the Miracles. My dad wrote for the Miracles. Jerry dad wrote Smiling Faces.
Wow.
Cocaine dad wrote Smiling Faces.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they my pops and my uncle, he co-wrote for and co-produced Willie Hutch, the Mac, Foxy Brown, all that. He was involved in a lot of that stuff too. So yeah,
he did the whole score for the Mac.
Yeah,
that's
man.
Willie
Hutch, man,
that's big,
it's incredible, man.
Yes,
Willie
sir.
Hutch has an incredible catalog, man. I'm proud to be a Hutch legacy for sure.
Yes, sir.
And a long legacy. You know what I mean? So I have that first is my lineage, in music. And I studied music when I was growing up. I played 3 different instruments. I played bass guitar, piano, and actually 4, trumpet and French horn.
Wow.
So for me getting into music, when hip hop took off in the late 80s, that's when I started really being a hip hop head.
Real quick, you do any live wind instruments on any tracks?
Oh yeah, a lot of the stuff, I haven't done it in a lot of years, but a lot of our stuff early had like horns, like real stuff.
And you was blowing them bitches, huh?
Sometimes, yeah.
Big deal.
But
man.
I definitely compose them, because I know the cool thing about being in band and orchestra and the jazz ensemble, I learned how to actually compose records, like from the bottom to the top. You know what I mean? Like what belongs and what don't belong, and create that contrast of making a dope record. So after that, we end up meeting Laylaw from N.W.A, which Laylaw ran with one of my partners, which is Gomac. Was in our crew,
right?
DJ Gomac. And at the time, N.W.A was bubbling. It was about to blow up. They had just started Ruthless Records. Eazy-E, rest in peace. Starting Ruthless Records, and we shot them a demo, Living Like Hustlers demo, about 6-7 songs on it, and they loved it. They were on the Straight Outta Compton tour, and then from there, as soon as they got off the Straight Outta Compton tour, Law, Eric, and Dre signed us. The Ruthless
Just
Records,
like that.
88, 89.
What was on the demo?
Living Like Hustlers, Murder Rap, Untouchables, Ballin', Flow On,
all the hits,
Men's to Society, the whole, like I told you, like
how did you feel about your demo when you presented? You knew you had some bangers.
Yeah, actually, because we was in the streets heavy. We was in the streets heavy, and people was digging us. From Pomona to South Central, everybody was digging us.
So y'all was working the
demo. We was working like the the party circuits. Back then, it was like who's the hot cats in the streets. So we was like one of them like cats. It's like, okay, them dudes, they got something. So by the time they got the demo, it was easy money, dog. The greatest thing about Eazy-E is that Eazy-E saw the potential. He didn't know what level it could work at, but he said, okay, them dudes are polished already. So they kind of knew like how we already had the concept. They didn't have to develop us.
Right.
So that's why I knew it, because Above the Law was already developed when we came to Ruthless Records.
Yeah, clearly. I mean,
that was the fly shit to me. So
Living Like Hustlers, Ballin', Murder Rap. I mean, that was all the dopest shit on the album. Untouchables. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove.
Yeah. As you hear them too.
Wow.
As you hear those records, they were done.
So what did Ruthless or Dre bring to those tracks?
Well, he brought the professional aspect to it, because they were at a demo stage.
Okay.
And some could say like, when you raw, it feels a little better, but it has to be polished. You know what I mean? Like it's like a diamond. It has to be dressed up, put in a case. It has
that dirt on the track.
Presentation. Yeah, you know what I mean?
That little gritty that's always kind of gives it a better feel.
Exactly. So we polished it. So that's what it was about. One thing that Dre taught me is how to make records. You know what I mean? How to make it a record. Like instead of just a bunch of songs together, he taught me how to make it a record as a producer. So that was his whole objective on the project, to show me how to actually
Right.
make it be a professional record.
I heard you on another interview speak on a scale, like how the album is supposed to progress and tell a story.
Exactly.
And Dr. Dre was a master at that. And,
Exactly.
And he taught you to be a master of it.
Exactly, because what I did learn, I learned how you want to say you can see the music. You want to like be like, okay, like it's okay. This part is gonna go to here, and in this scene, it's like you see the music,
right?
And that's what I always thought was awesome about being at Ruthless Records and coming into that. That's what I learned. I learned how to make you see the music, you know, through your ears and see it, through your eyes, close your eyes and visualize it, you know.
Right.
And that I didn't know how to do. You know, I knew how to put the songs together, knew how to compose them, I knew how to what everything was supposed to be in perspective, but I didn't know how to lay it all out, you know, to actually put it to the people. I think that comes from when you make records, you know. I think you have the it thing, because you got to have the it thing for people to gravitate to it. But I think those little small, little intricate things is what, when you get with people that have done it, they know how to actually convey it to the public. Right. And that was the best lesson I've learned. That one of the best lessons I've learned.
By the time you guys signed it, what year?
89.
89. And the album was out in early 90, right?
90, yep. February, March,
quick.
I think. February,
that was
March.
Quick.
Yeah, because it was, like I said, it was primarily done. It was probably 75% done. Like far as you could say done. Like, so all we had to do was move it and then add a few tracks. So, and then we went every day. Ruthless Records was a machine. If you were in, say we got signed in September, you're probably going to have your record done in December. Yeah. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's how we move every day, flow every day, work every day, you know.
Whose album was out at the time? Was Doc's album out at the time?
Doc. Yeah.
Okay.
Doc album was out. Yeah.
JJ Fad
had been out. That had already been out. They had been nominated for a Grammy. They had been doing big things. Eazy-E and N.W.A. was out. Only records was out was those 4 records. And then Michelle was about to drop. Yeah. And then we dropped. Okay. You know, Michelle was about to drop. And then with the Nicety single, and then her album was going to drop. And from there, then Living Like Hustlers took off. So that was the original roster. Okay. You know, JJ Fad, Above the Law, N.W.A., Eazy-E, the DLC, and Michelle.
What was the camaraderie like at Ruthless with the artists?
Let me tell you. Well, I mean, one thing you would love about it is that everybody supported making a record. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think that was but the competition off the scale.
Who was the most competitive artist at Ruthless?
I would say Doc. I would say the DLC.
DLC?
I would say the DLC. Yeah. DLC is the most incredible rapper I've ever witnessed. You know what I mean? He's the most incredible rapper I've ever witnessed doing a record. Yeah. You know, to be honest, he's just the most incredible dude. That kind of made me, as far as 187, step my game up. You know what I mean?
187. How you get that name, man?
Oh, DJ Chaos named me. Shout out DJ Chaos, my brother. He named me that. Back in the days, I used to battle. Okay. Battle rapper. And he was like, man, you be killing them off. You be murdering them, you know. And it was going to be code, CODE 187, like the penal code.
Oh, get it. I got it.
So he was like, call yourself code 187. Yeah. I was like, nah, the code. I said, let's change it to code, COLD. Yeah. 187. Yeah. UM. 187.
Yeah, 7.
Yeah, exactly.
He whooped Debo ass and he cold.
There you go. Right. There you go. So that's how we came up with it.
Right.
Yeah, it's a combination of me and my brother DJ Chaos.
Show enough. Yeah. Shout out to Chaos, man.
Rest in peace, my brother KMG too, man.
Rest in peace, KMG, man. Yeah, I want to get to that, but I want to get back to the camaraderie with the artists or the
I think
competition, so to speak.
I think it was healthy because I think when we came in, they were already established. So we looked at, okay, now it's a gauge. It's like saying, okay, you got to be at this level in order to do it. So I don't think it was more so I'm at you, but I'm really at you. But it's kind of like get up to my level. If you up to my level, then we can roll with y'all. We can rock with y'all. So we had to bring it. I mean, you know, cats would be in the corner looking like,
because you know DOC was bringing pressure. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And I'm sure like that put pressure on Q.
And Ren was the most skillful. He was the most skillful dude. He was the dude that he was the pinnacle of us, like as an MC.
Yeah,
that's what we wanted to all get to. Him.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just lyrically, we wanted
some
to get
shit.
to
I don't take it. Not even in a toilet.
Yeah. That's what we wanted to get to. Just to be honest, you know what I mean? Like that was. I think me, Cam G, Doc, and Cube. You know, when we look at it, we're characters, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But far as to me. The gun that was really the gun was Ren. So that was a good gauge. I mean, and like I said, Doc was just phenomenal, man.
Oh yeah.
You know, so when you looking at them MCs, just look at them MCs I just named.
Yeah.
Just look at all those MCs they come out of one camp. And in 1988, 89, they came out of one camp.
Right. Now Doc wrote a lot of stuff for Eazy. People think that Ice Cube is responsible for a majority of Eazy's.
Ren wrote. Doc wrote, Dre wrote. Everybody, a lot of people wrote. A lot of people wrote stuff, man. You know, in that time frame, especially in the early days.
Did you ever ghostwrite for anybody?
I wrote on Niggas for Life.
Okay,
I wrote 100 Miles of Running. I wrote on and Ghost.
Say that loud and proud, man. You wrote what?
100 Miles of Running.
Come on,
yeah.
Make sure they know that.
I got some N.W.A. in there, so it's
yes, sir.
But yeah, in the early days, I think, which was really cool, nobody tripped off of that.
Okay.
You know, so get the job done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Cube wrote this, but he don't have he Eazy got the voice.
Mm-hmm.
Cube was more skilled to the right there. Okay, Doc, you know, he took a lot of load off that writing, you know.
Yeah.
Because Doc's clever. You know, Doc's brain is probably back then working like a IBM computer. Mm-hmm. You know, like now you say a smartphone back then. You know what I mean? His brain worked like that in the 80s. So you want that mind putting something inside of you. You know what I mean? If you don't have that skill set. So I think that was dope, and that's what made us rich at Ruthless, that we didn't care about that. We didn't care who came up with something. We didn't, you know, it was for the greater good, for the team to really look really successful.
Did you ever see Eazy-E like it was portrayed in the movie, Straight Outta Compton, struggling to be able to find how to put words to rhythm to a track?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, Eric could tell you he wasn't a rapper. He's a good idea.
Wow,
he's a good idea. See, one thing I can say that's dope about Eazy-E is that Eazy-E was honest. Like, look, you know, y'all can do it easy. I can't, but my voice is a commodity.
Yeah.
So, you know, you got to deal with that. You know, he never act like it was an issue that he couldn't do it, or he never act like he could do it. So it wasn't expected of him. Like a lot of people be like, okay, oh, he really couldn't rap. He's like, but if you talk to him, he wouldn't say he was a rapper. He just said he got a dope voice, which was a good idea. You know what I mean? So it's what sells. It's like okay, is a great actor, a great writer, is a great, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you gotta. It's the team that you put around it, but we want to see that particular artists do their thing, because what they have in them is special when they do it.
Because when it came to N.W.A, Eazy-E was definitely the star of the show.
Oh yeah. He was like the ideal of N.W.A.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you looked at him, that was N.W.A. Like him, that was his everyday. Like that was him.
Right.
Like if you look at the imagery of N.W.A, that's like, okay, that's Eazy's image.
Yeah.
You know, on a record.
What's crazy, man, in 1995, man, I saw Eazy-E. This is the year he died. I seen him walking in the Cerritos Mall by himself.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Just shopping.
And that's what he would do.
You know what I mean? No security, no nothing.
He don't have no problem with that.
He got security.
He got a pistol on him. I'll tell you, he got a pistol on him. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, you know, and you know, he looked healthy. Yeah. You know,
it was crazy, man. It's crazy.
And a couple of months later, he wasn't healthy no more.
It's ridiculous, man. Ain't that crazy? They crazy how the world work, man.
When was the last time you seen Eazy alive?
I seen him about a week before he was in the hospital.
How did he look?
Look, he didn't look like he was dying. We rolled up some weed, we smoked, we talked some business. and he drove off in the sunset. He didn't look like how people portray him to look, like how he was falling off and falling apart. He looked regular to me. So
yeah, in the movie they made it seem like it was like a progression.
But in the movie, in the movie, they kind of got on, but it jumps around a little bit because I guess how they got to make the movie look. But at that point, Eazy was more like active. Like, to be honest, he was more like, I'm about to do this and I'm about to do this. He was more like a renegade for it. And he wasn't like, no, I'm going through something. He wasn't really going through nothing like how, you know what I mean? Like the reason why I say that is because the stuff he was laying down to me, he was so on point with it. I don't even, when he got sick, I was like, no one would set that kind of stuff up and just be sick. He had his war chips together, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like he was like, I'm about, I got to hurry up. No, he was like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to lay this out like this. We're going to put this together. We're going to do this. We're not fucking with this. We're going to fuck with this. I'm going to holler at the group. We're going to put the group back together, do a reunion. He had it all mapped out. He didn't look like that. He didn't look like he was busted or confused and no shit.
Right,
so,
right.
You know what I mean? Like,
what do you take from the song, The End of the World? There's another song where he talked about when he
any last word.
Any last words.
Yeah, I mean, we wrote them. I wrote those records. Yeah, I produced those records. But I think Eazy's vision, Eazy always had a vision, like thinking about like where people's mindset is at.
Okay.
So when we was writing for Eazy, we always knew his image. Like, okay, we gonna write some stuff like this is where people's mind is at. It's the end of the world. Niggas ain't got no satisfaction. You know what I mean? So in our mind, which was written by Shaky and Cocaine, I want to say Dirty Red and Cocaine, and my other cat, who else wrote that? I'm trying to say who wrote that. It's a young writer we had, Zigzag. Yeah, it's a young writer. Zigzag wrote, I think, Any Last Word. I think he co-wrote with us. But what we were trying to do with that is trying to, at that point in society, think about where everything was at.
Ready to die.
It was
life after death.
Exactly.
After death.
Yeah. In society, we saw a lot of, not in our industry, we didn't see a lot of death, but in society, we did. We seen a lot of, like, where it seemed like the world was about to end. It was like, total chaos, came off the Rodney King thing, had the police brutality.
Then we was approaching the year 2000 too.
That too.
So we was
writing within that landscape of things.
Come on.
So those records was right there like that. I mean, the greatest thing that we could do was that we had the freedom to do that. Versus now, if you look at it now, everything is kind of like, oh yeah, don't talk about that. You don't want to scare shit out of people, but everybody else is scaring the shit. Every other medium is scaring the shit out of people, but music can't. Music can't say what's real on the heart. So that was what's going on in society. So we just wrote about it. All the writers that was on my staff and on Ruthless staff, we just wrote about it. We said, okay, we're gonna write these kind of records.
Right.
Okay,
so you say it was a competitive but friendly environment.
Yeah,
it was a friendly, competitive environment.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, you got Doc, you got Cube. Now, what's the dynamic between Doc and Cube? I'm just curious about
the dynamics.
Yeah, like what were they like? Was it like a respect thing? Was it a friendship thing?
No, everything is respect. I mean,
I've never even heard him really mention Doc other than the grand finale.
I mean, everything is respect. You know what I mean? Like I think with Cube, Cube was always, Cube, which is a good thing because where he ended up being at, it is where you can see Cube always is supposed to be at, He always like lightning in a bottle, you know what I mean? I think he always was a guy that was his own front runner, and that's not bad. That just means like I think that he was better a solo artist than being in a box in a group. You know what I mean? At the time, I think he was as brilliant or is as brilliant as whatever any of us can possibly do. So if he wanted to go off and do his thing, but I think at Ruthless Records, you know how when you do something like you get too big for the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think he got too big for the franchise. I think he just was that much of a star at that time that he got too. So, no. And I don't think it was no animosity, because I think hats off. I think Doc was a franchise himself. I think we don't make that turn in hip hop without Doc. I think Doc's record ended up making the label turn like to where it really got out of the gangster rap thing into like real hip hop nostalgia. Hell of a rapping, beats. It kind of put that all on the map. So I don't think I think Cube was secure with what he was doing. I just think Cube got too big for what we were all doing. I think he would already branched off.
Do you think that Cube felt like it should have been his solo project ahead of Doc's?
No.
Okay.
But I'll tell you something honest, he thought it should be before Living Like Hustlers.
Wow.
Yeah, he did say that. You know what I mean? He didn't understand. But see, Eric had a plan. Eric said, look, I'm trying to build a label. I don't want to do spinoffs until I establish the label, because he knew it's based upon roster. You gotta have a roster. You can't just be like we're a group and then we got a bunch of spinoffs. So he based it on that. People haven't. So he said he wanted to put out the Doc, Above the Law. You know what I mean? And then start doing their solo after we had established that.
Makes sense.
Then go back to
N.W.A.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why if you notice, Ren's EP come out after Living Like Hustlers.
Right.
And that's when it was supposed to be happening. Supposed to be Cube, Ren, everybody do their spinoff records after he established the label.
Yeah.
It wasn't nothing personal with Cube. Honestly, it wasn't.
Okay.
Cube, I don't think Cube took it personal like that, but he felt like his album should have came next. I mean, outright Cube he deserves what he got, and that's no kick on Cube. That's no knock on him that he wanted to. I would have wanted to too.
They released his solo songs on B-sides of other singles.
There you go. So they were grooming you for him to have a project.
I Ain't the One. I think Bitch is a Bitch. That was a single, right?
Yeah.
I
can remember. Yeah,
and that shit had the streets buzzing though.
Oh yeah. Cube was that voice. He was the Michael Jordan of N.W.A. He was the Michael Jackson of it. He was the star. He was the star of the show. I mean, no, like I said, no disrespect, no kick on him. I'm just telling you some honest shit. You know what I mean? Like that's what he wanted. And I understand it because he's his own franchise, as you see now. He wasn't wrong. So, we base everything on keeping shit real. Where we come from, we base that shit on keeping shit real. So, that's just the way it was. And that's the way Eazy wanted it. It wasn't my call. It wasn't like I came in and said, fuck him or anybody else. It was Eazy's call. You know what I mean? So, but that don't mean that he wrong because he wanted that, fam.
Once Ice Cube did go ahead and leave Ruthless Records, stay with Priority, and there was a situation between you and he.
Right.
Explain that situation.
That situation was personal, and me and him are tighter than pantyhose is two sizes small now. What it was is that we had done an article on in the LA Times. And it was the first week we had done some really big numbers. Living Like Hustlers blew out, did some big numbers. And we were in an interview and we said, yeah, we talk about the stuff that, went on in the game when we hustled and was out there, moving around, getting money in the streets. And we not like Ice Cube where he just seen niggas like us do it. We really was in it.
Right.
So LA Times asked for a reply to that. Well, he replied, New Jack niggas from Pomona should only talk about the 10 freeway because that's the only thing that's going through it. At that point, I took it really offensive because I done made my bones in that city. Me and my crew, we really street hustle niggas that really did it. And we know at that point, when we were doing it, you was away at college, homie. So what we saying it, I ain't trying to knock him or nothing. He's great. He's great. You know what I mean? Like I ain't, and I'm talking about at that time, you know what I mean? Like, but that's what it was over. And so he came to our show. Me and him got into a little argument. Blows got thrown. And that was it, supposedly. So we thought.
Yeah.
Then it goes to the New Music Seminar where his homies, which we all cool with, we all knew each other.
The lynch mob.
Yeah, we get to going barking back and forth.
Sir Jinx,
yeah, we
JD.
get to barking back and forth in the middle of the seminar, and then we start scrapping right in front of the seminar, and we squashed it since. Me and JD is really tight. Welcome Home, JD. You know, Short Dog,
yeah.
T-Bone.
T-Bone.
You know what I mean? T-Bone. We all cool now. You know what I mean? Because we always was cool.
Right.
So, we squashed it and kept it moving, but it was just like, you know, it was young, man, but we was willing to fight, you know, like not like now. You get shot.
Oh my God.
You know, we wanted to fight, you know what I mean? Was
Ice Cube in the altercation?
He was at the seminar, but he wasn't involved in the altercation. So
not like the movie portrayed it.
Nah, he wasn't.
Well, this lynch mob, nigga.
Nah, he wasn't involved in that. That just for, you know, and not to expose the movie like that. It happened like that, but it wasn't him who.
Okay.
It's his boys.
You know
what I mean? It happened, but it wasn't his boys is the ones who said
they stepped up in his honor.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we're going to be honest.
Right.
Apartment 107, we're going to be honest.
He put himself in the scene.
I mean, that's cool. That's it. And made the movie. Straight Outta Compton's a brilliant movie. It's great. You know what I mean?
So in the initial altercation, is it safe to say you got the better of him?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's
I gotta be a little messy.
I mean, it's what's written in it. It's cool,
right?
It ain't like you ain't talking about nothing that it's just on your platform.
Yeah,
you know, people done heard the story before.
Okay,
but just your listeners ain't. But yeah, it's all good. Yeah.
Man, so you gave it to him.
It was a young fight. It was a young struggle for him.
Yeah, yeah.
He had a young struggle. He had a little young struggle with me, but you know I was a young whippersnapper then, so it was hard. You gonna have a little struggle with me then.
Yeah, but you know I love Ice Cube, so I'm just trying to entertain some viewers, man.
I'm an Ice Cube fan. I'm an Ice Cube fan, and he's my partner, so he's my bro. So you know, we can say that it was a young fight.
Right,
you know, it wasn't nothing that it lasts as long as it lasted. You know what I mean?
How'd y'all end up squashing it?
We squashed it actually the night.
The night of the seminar.
Down the night, and we chopped it up, you know, and he was like, man, this is getting out of hand, and it wasn't like that, man, you know, y'all, we just going back and forth, we didn't have to go to the blows and all that, but that's how it be when you young, you know what I mean, like you be more like hot-headed instead of people sitting down and saying, hey, man, you know, you shot some shots at me, I shot back, you know,
right.
That's fair game. You know,
what's dope about what y'all situation is, you know, it played out in real life. Mm-hmm. It never got on wax.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And the way it played out in a way you can handle it in real life.
Oh, yeah.
The way men handle things in real life.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But when No Vaseline came out, he went at the brothers in the group, you know what I'm saying? And came, you know, guns blazing.
But let's just say this. If we was keeping it on records, it's okay. That's not to knock what goes on records. Me, at the time, I just was more like I'm a fronting.
Yeah. And
then we squared off. If it never probably seen him, it probably would have went to a record.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that was the end all. Let's go, okay, they fought. Now they going to diss each other on records. They already scrapped. Like,
right.
What the
and that was dope. Like, y'all didn't look at it like, well, let me put this on record just to, you know, sensationalize it.
Exactly.
Y'all handled it. It got addressed, and that was it.
But if you look at that, that's kind of a tick for tack, and that's kind of like where people, to me, and I'm gonna keep it real because I keep shit real. It's like when you do shit like that, you know what is gonna move the narrative. You know what's gonna move the needle, basically. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Okay, because it's a narrative here.
Fucking with the algorithm.
There you go. As they say now, the algorithm. Yeah. Because it's something there. You know, okay, I left. They tripping on me. I'm finna make a record. They said this little punk ass shit. You know, it's like that. People know that. Versus with our situation, it was personal. It had nothing to do with you can't rhyme or you left and you a backstabber. You know, it was like, hey, homie, like we just made a statement. Why are you tripping on us?
Do you think it was a mistake for Eazy-E to have N.W.A go at Ice Cube initially on record?
Oh yeah, I mean, if that's the way they felt,
he drew N.W.A drew first blood.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If that's the way they felt, I mean, we feel like this. Okay, if you feel like you want to speak on that, speak on it. Nobody had no problem with, and nobody had no problem with No Vaseline. You feel me?
Yeah,
because that's his right.
Right.
You know, nobody is saying, oh, well, he ain't gonna say shit. You know, you kind of expected motherfuckers to say shit.
Right.
Back then. You know
it made it dope. Something. It made it dope for the fans.
If we'd have went to record, it would have been the same thing with me and him. I'd be expecting him to say something back.
Right.
It wouldn't matter. That's what came with it.
Now this shit these dudes saying on these records is leading to murders.
Yeah, because see, it ain't just rapping. You know, see, honestly, I would never diss where he from. If I was to diss a record, I wouldn't diss where people from. I'd just be about their skill set. I wouldn't be personal with them. I wouldn't say that I'm fucking their wife. I wouldn't,
threaten their life.
It would just be like the facts. That's what I like about No Vaseline. Like, he kind of just spit facts. Like, why he didn't want no parts with Jerry Heller. Why he didn't want no parts with Ruthless no more. Because he felt like it wasn't fair. And same thing with Eazy-E and N.W.A. What they were saying, like, you left us hanging, homie. Like, we could have worked it out. Like,
right.
You did some bullshit out for yourself. That's the way they felt. I ain't saying that's the way I felt, but that's the way they felt because they said it. You know what I mean? But I think now it comes in when you get to disrespecting people's cities and their sets and this and all that, then it starts getting a little like it could get physical. You know what I mean? Because then you disrespecting people's legacy, like what they stand on, for real. And you know, when you're dealing with certain people and when you're young, it's emotional, homie. Like I realized that in my situation. You know what I mean? When me and him got into it. So I kind of understand it, but I just wish these dudes kind of had more value. Like they knew, like, don't go there.
Right.
You know what I mean? I just wish they knew how to value that because we kind of stuck to the music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the things that they were saying was kind of to the music.
Exactly.
It wasn't never like fuck your hood and this and I blast on you and all that. You know what I mean? It's
So next to follow Cube leaving Ruthless was Dr. Dre.
Right.
Could you see that coming? Was that like
no, that was a blind
that came out of nowhere?
That came out of nowhere. Yeah. Came out of nowhere. I think that's when everything was the darkest time for everybody. Because Dre is our light. Dre was like our, everything. Like we followed Dre. Forever, if Eazy-E was God, then
he was Jesus.
He was Moses.
Oh, Moses, that's what's up.
Moses, we'd follow him.
Right.
You know what I mean? Out of whatever it was. You know what I mean? So
to the promised land.
To the promised land. And they both, and it was torn. It kind of torn. It kind of torn us. So we didn't see that coming. No, it was definitely between them two.
Yeah.
It was definitely like something that's like, you like, oh man, that now something serious.
Now, you were there and you knew Suge while he was Eazy's bodyguard, right?
Well, it was Doc's.
Doc's bodyguard.
Yeah, he was a part of the staff.
Okay.
Yeah, security.
So how was
us and Doc?
How was it? What was his persona like while he was?
I mean, Suge was. I would say this about Suge. Good thing about Suge was this. Suge always did one thing. He always back then would expose what was wrong, even if it meant that you had to get the hard lesson. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Basically. And he was the one who showed us like how it wasn't fair at Ruthless. Not that no one was getting fucked. It's just once you start establishing yourself as an entertainer, it's like these things, these particular contracts that you have, not fair.
Right.
And he always championed for the little guy, for the underdog. That's what you love about him. You know what I mean? And he kind of exposed the whole thing to everybody. Like after Cube had left and after we had all been established, he kind of showed Doc. He kind of showed us. He kind of showed, Dre. Like you could do better doing this.
Right.
You could be more this. You know what I mean? And he just jumped right in and just showed us. Check this out. How your attorney look at this? I'm telling you, and when we did, it wasn't fair.
Yeah.
It was cool, but it wasn't fair. Like, I mean, because, when you fresh off the streets trying to do something legal and it's 1988, 89, what's a bad deal, homie? Ain't
right.
Really
ain't no bad deal.
Really no bad. And it's hip-hop. So it's not like these dudes could establish, but once you start making, it's like being a ball player. Once you get the stats, you got to renegotiate. You can't just keep playing under that same rookie contract.
Right.
So that's what he exposed, and that was his good soul. That was his soul back then that actually like try to bring us to a focus on what actually was really going on in the music entertainment business.
So he started out with the best intention.
Absolutely. I will tell you that for a fact, because that's what I saw him do. Being a part of the first breaking grounds of Death Row Records, that was his whole objective, to do it the right way. In the melee, I really don't know what happened, fam. So, because I stayed at Ruthless at that time, because I had a young contract as a writer and a producer and an artist, and it was no way for me to get out of it. It was too new,
Did Eazy get beat up by Suge and his goons? Is that true? How it played out?
Not that I know of. I wasn't there when it happened.
You never heard of that story?
I heard he got threatened. I heard he got threatened, and that's what opened up the can of worms to actually all the dominoes fell, and it fell in Eazy's favor. So the physical part, I don't know. I know it was bats pulled. I don't think they were used.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't remember him being assaulted. I remember him being stepped to about it, and under duress, he signed a contract. Which, yeah, which gave him.
So they were able to actually intimidate Eazy.
Absolutely.
Wow. Yeah.
But here's the hook on the intimidation. Okay, no, he signed a contract under duress. It's not void.
And that's how it played out in court?
That's how it played out. And he ended up getting 25% of the chronic. That.
Wow.
Crazy, huh? Crazy how legal.
That dude's a smart businessman.
Yeah, so see. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'll sign it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Didn't say it was under duress. There you go.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Eazy Eric, that's my boy.
Yeah, man, he was incredible. People got mad at Eazy when he the funny story he told me one time. I said, man, people tripping on you about having dinner with the president. He said, man, fuck that. He said, man, I spent $10,000 and I got $1 million worth of press. Now you tell me if that ain't a motherfucking real motherfucker. He said, I'm from Compton, man. He said, man, that's a publicity stunt, homie. He said, man, don't worry about that. It's all good.
Cold part about it, the last election,
to get $1 million worth of press.
The last election, Q was trying to get a meeting with both of them dudes, both of the candidates.
It happens. Hey, like I said,
he got a meeting with Trump's people, but Biden people wasn't having it.
Yeah, he was always calculated. Eric was always a calculated guy. So,
yeah,
he was a thinker. So he didn't have a lot of talent, but he was a thinker. He was a very brilliant mind. The way he saw things. So.
Okay, so you got Death Row going.
Mm-hmm.
Eazy-E is making a quarter of the proceeds from the album. Absolutely. I'm sure that sucked for them. They hated that.
Yeah, well, he took a bite out of it. Not a chunk out of that pie.
How long was he on? Okay, how long was he set to continue to profit?
That I don't know how long it was. It was some years, but I don't know how long. But it was
when he died, he was still profiting.
Yeah, I would believe so. Yeah, I would definitely believe, because it was fresh. That was fresh when he died. That was fresh into that contract. It wasn't just 1 year. It was some years.
You believe in the conspiracies out there that Suge and Death Row may have something to do with his death?
Nah, I don't believe that Suge had nothing to do with his death. I don't believe that at all. I've never heard that. But I think that when you advise a particular operation, knowing that a person has immune deficiency, I think that's a death sentence. I think it's something to that.
What operation did they advise?
He from my understanding, he had mucus on his lungs or something, like pneumonia, and
from bronchitis, right?
From bronchitis, and they cut on him. And how can he fight it off if you open his body up? So I think it's a death sentence. Myself. So I don't know. I don't know if they could have tried anything else, but I just think that part seems to me like that makes it.
Yeah. You feel like he died more so from malpractice?
I think so. I just think from someone advising that to happen without the proper guidance, but it worked in their favor, I believe. This is honesty. So, he's gone. Look, they inherited everything. So,
What you know about Tamika Wright?
Not a lot. I'll tell you one thing I do know. When I talked to Eric about Tamika Wright, he basically never told me that he wanted to marry her. That's one thing. So I don't know why that went down, and no disrespect to her or anything. I don't know what they were talking, but I'm just saying what he told me.
Yeah.
You know, he said, "Hey man, a bitch got to make me levitate off the bed like the bitch from The Exorcist before I marry her." So I said, "Man, you crazy as a motherfucker." He said, "No, nah, that ain't." I mean, he never. I mean, and when he and when I met her, I seen him with her, and he was like, I was like, who's all bright? And he was like, "Oh man, that's just somebody I'm doing business with."
Okay.
Because I started seeing her hanging around the label a lot. I was like, "Oh man, it's just somebody I'm doing business with. It ain't nothing serious like that." And that was it.
Do they have children?
Yeah, they do. I believe they have 2. Yeah.
Okay. So even once he made kids with her, it still wasn't like a real serious situation.
Because I think she had the kids at the end. I think she had the kids. Maybe I don't. Like I said, Eric had a lot of kids. Don't mean he wanted to marry her.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
right.
That don't mean nothing.
He got little Eazy, E3.
He got a lot of kids. You roll out the red carpet for him, man. Shout out to the kids too. Beautiful kids. But that don't mean he wanted to marry the baby mamas.
Right. Wow. Okay. So, was he the one who made the decision about the Did he make his own decision as far as the surgery, or was that something that his wife had to authorize?
No, he was unconscious. He was.
So
sedated.
she authorized the surgery.
That's what I'm telling you. He was sedated. Eazy wasn't up when that happened.
It's crazy, man. Yeah. You know, Arnold Drummond, Gary Coleman, his woman had his plug pulled all early.
Damn.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah. When he died, he got on life support, and she was like, I
didn't know that. That's heavy.
You know what I mean? So it's like you got to be careful who you marry when you have, when your name is worth some money, or you know what I'm saying, you have a legacy and people can profit from.
Yeah, and you know what, when it's over. That's why I look at it, man. Seeing a situation like that, I really don't think that Eric knew it. That's why I think it was all of a sudden. That's why I don't think he knew. Yeah, I don't think he knew. He
didn't even know he was married. You don't think?
I don't think he knew like how sick he was or any of that. That's why when you asked me, was he like, I don't think he knew all of that. If he knew, I think he would have had all that planned out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like who does what? Who does it? I think he was a millionaire. He's a multi-millionaire. He would have had it all laid out. He wasn't struggling.
Right.
I don't understand it. It's kind of crazy to me because he was such a brilliant business person in the mind for us, but when that happened, it just seemed like it happened so fast that how could he have known? Because he was a calculator. I just told you a few seconds ago, he's calculated.
Yep.
He would already had it. Okay, let's go to this. I already signed this off. Already. Yeah. If he knew,
and all his kids would have been.
Yeah. If he knew
in the will.
If he knew.
Yeah.
Come on. If he knew, like, oh, you got these many months to live.
It's crazy, man. I hear what you're not saying, man. And Jerry Heller kind of said the same thing. He was like, just see who stands to gain the most.
Right. All of a sudden. So just think, don't cast no stones at nobody, but just everybody got to pay attention now. That's the only thing gonna be free here.
Yeah.
For you to pay attention, okay?
I got you.
It ain't gonna cost you nothing. And like I said, he was too calculated for that.
I get you. I hope people would understand and get that. What you just heard.
Yeah, because I wasn't, I'm not a person to say medically where he was at. I ain't seen no medical records. I ain't seen this, but I'm saying if he knew, I don't think any of that would have took place, to be honest, if he knew.
How was Tamika when she took over the realm of Ruthless Records?
Well, I mean, at first, I guess she was trying to pull us all together. But at that moment, we really all felt like Ruthless was Eazy-E. You know what I mean? We didn't know anything else. It was a bunch of new people around. We didn't know anybody. So she was okay in the early days. I think where it really got bad at is when I don't really think she protected the homie legacy as Ruthless Records. You know what I mean? Like she didn't keep people involved, even though we went off and did our thing. She did a Bone record, did Ren record. did a couple other projects, and she never like did what Eazy wanted to do, rally us all back up together,
right,
and do what Eazy wanted to do. That's the only thing I think that she really failed at, like bringing us all back together. The healthy thing is that we all kind of came back together for Straight Outta Compton, you know. And I guess that's just by the movie and Dre and Cube decided to do it. That's why it was awesome for them doing that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it kind of got us all back together, you know? So, and I think that's where she really fumbled the ball, not involving Dre, Cube, Ren, Yella, me, K, the rest of all of us, Cocaine, all of us that had something to do with building Ruthless Records.
Right.
You know, have a part of the label itself, you know, because I think we would have been protecting the legacy of Ruthless Records. It would still be standing today.
Yeah.
So that's where she fumbled the ball at, though.
Yeah, it's over. It's all Ruthless is done,
and that's why I say she failed at. It's not that she's a bad person because she inherited it. Because I don't know what happened in the room. It's just the fact that she didn't bring us all back together like Eric wanted us to be together. So.
Okay, so
really no effort, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
we're the heart of it. Like, you know, it was a collective. You know, it wasn't just like Eazy was the soul of it. But it's like saying he gave us all these different things. So get a piece from Dre, get a piece from Hutch, get a piece from Yella, get a piece from Ren, get a piece from Doc, get a piece. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, because that's what made the label.
Right. Who is the creator of G-Funk?
You're looking at him. I'm not the one that's benefited the most from G-Funk, but I am the creator, you know.
Okay.
I'm the young producer that came up with an idea that actually influenced the Chronic and the G-Funk era album. Warren G.
He used to live with you, right?
Yeah, Warren G used to stay with me when we were doing Living Like Hustlers.
Okay.
And from there we developed a sound with just slowing the music down, putting singing on it, putting chords on top of it, and we influenced all the stuff that you hear, put singing on it, and it's what you hear as today as coined known as G-Funk, that theory.
Mm-hmm. That was your theory.
That was my theory. You know, people get it missed. They think, oh, Dre stole. I know he just used the theory. He didn't steal it. Ain't like he went to my studio and took my songs. And no, he just used the ideals and the theory, and which to that is what you want. You know what they say, imitation is the best form of flattery, right? So to that, you know, I have to say hats off, because if I influenced the Chronic, look how great my mind is.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And you definitely have a great mind, man.
Yeah. So I'll take it. You know, I'll take it. You know, and the rest, you know, Cocaine, the rest of Above the Law, they're the architects. You know, I'm the creator of it. So yeah, we designed that whole sound. You know,
Warren G, he is in total agreement of this being a fact.
Absolutely.
That you are the creator.
Absolutely.
What about Dr. Dre?
Same. You know, the thing about Dre is Dre is like this. When you work with him, something gonna get on you, like something gonna get on him.
Right.
But he's not gonna go hands across America over it.
Right.
He gonna be like, yeah, you know, I was working with this young producer and da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be it. It's gonna be like a speed bump. It's not gonna be, because his brilliance is way off the Richter scale. You know, which when we were at Appetite for Destruction video, he asked me, like, what is that? I was like, man, you know, it's like, you know, we call it G-Funk, man. It's like, he said, yeah, man, that's kind of cool, man. I'm digging that. You know, that, you know, cats say they digging that, you know, it's getting on them. It's something getting on them. You know,
right.
they're going to incorporate it in there.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
That is so true.
The same clique, you know what I mean? It wasn't, it's more of an influence than it is like someone taking something from you. Where the discrepancy comes from is that the Chronic came out first. Then Black Mafia Life came out.
But it was already recorded.
It was already recorded when Niggas for Life was recorded.
Okay, so even way before the Chronic came out.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Before the Chronic was even thought of.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was all developed.
Now, I thought that Warren G was the one who actually coined the phrase G-Funk, or he branded it, KMG.
It's KMG and Law, I want to say, came up with the G-Funk. The first person to coin it was Tupac. On
Call It What You Want.
Yeah.
Call it G-Funk, or you can call it what you want. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was the first time
that you heard it on a record. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Pac, man.
Pac,
man. Look, I mean, think about this, man. You got. We just talked about Eazy-E.
Mm-hmm.
Now we talking about Pac. Like, that's all just regular for you. You know what I mean? Like, that was.
Say that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so much history, so much.
Pac was my good friend. You know, Pac was one of my good friends. Funny thing about Call It What You Want, you know, he wasn't even supposed to be on the record. He wasn't Tupac yet. He hadn't established himself as Tupac. It was supposed to be me, Cam G, Money B, and Shock G.
Okay.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Cam G.
Yes, sir.
And Shock G. What happened in Tupac? What happened was,
wow,
it's crazy. So what happened was I want to say Shock got caught somewhere on the East Coast working on a record or something, and didn't show up to the studio. Studio was booked. It was like, we want 4 people on it. So it was like, well, you know, if Mun's on it, it's a representative of Digital Underground. But at the time, same song, but they had just popped.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, well, dude from same song want to get little dude want to, you know, see what.
And that's why he came with that Clown Around one night.
There you go.
Because
that was him off of that record. He had
reminding people who he was.
There you go, signature, putting his signature on it, his signature phrase on it, right? So at first we was like, yeah, little young dude could go. And not knowing it was going to be Tupac, he went. Yeah. And then after that, Juice came out, and records came out, and it was Tupac. Yeah.
Wow.
Greatest thing about Tupac was one of the realest people that you could meet, right? Because he didn't take none of this shit serious, but he took it like life. Like, we got to move now, do it now. And this is a part of our life. We're not going to have this moment. We're not going to have this opportunity ever again.
Yeah, that's real.
So that's why I loved him for that. He was always like adamant, like, oh, we got to do this. We got to do this now. We got to move now. We got to go now. We got to make this happen now. You know what I mean? That's his attitude. I started getting a little bit of that. And he's younger than me. So I started getting that little attitude like that. That's how my work ethic really started rolling, like always be in the studio, always be up at it. Don't never let nothing, you know, because that's how he was. You know, he didn't take the moment for granted, is what I'm saying.
Right.
He was that real, y'all. If y'all want to know one thing about him, he never took the moment for granted. You know, and he's the most loyal cat, one of the most loyal cats I ever knew in this industry. You know.
When was the last time you spoke to him?
I talked to Pac 2 days before he got shot. I was with him, New York. Yep.
Wow, how was his energy?
He was cool. He was at that level. You know, he was at that level in his life. You know what I mean, where he could do whatever he wanted to do. You know, Pac was finna take off, man. Pac was finna be worth. Back then, he was about to be $100 million man before he got killed. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
You know, I seen the work.
Yeah.
He was a motion picture star in a rap superstar. So. He would be the Denzel who rapped.
Right.
If Pac was still living. He'd be Denzel Washington if he could rap. And to me, you know. So, yeah, he was at that level. Yeah, you know.
Who do you like now? Who do you listen to?
I like OT. I like YG.
Okay.
Like Nip. You know,
Yeah.
Nip was my guy. You know, I love Nip, man. You know, it was great to meet Nip. Nip was one of the most humble young dudes I met. You know what I mean? Really talented dude, man. Rest in peace, Nip.
Yes, sir.
I like Kendrick. You know, Kendrick's dope. J. Cole. See who else? Group-wise, some groups. I like the Migos a little bit, man. The records, I like the records they do. You know, but that's probably deep as I go. Far as, you know, like new stuff, I don't get too deep in, you know, some of the up and coming guys I like.
How you feel?
Veggies,
okay, that's my people cousin.
Yeah, I like him. Who else? There's a couple other guys coming up. I was digging on the cat who just got
Slim 400.
Slim 400. So the cat got shot in Dallas. The young dude.
Oh, you talking about
down with
you talking about
down with Boosie.
Are you talking about the dude from Memphis?
No, from
Dolph?
Dallas. Not Dolph. I like Dolph too. Dolph was dope.
I don't know the dude in Dallas.
Man, Pop Smoke was dope.
Okay.
You know, I like Pop Smoke. Yeah, I mean,
how you feel about Lil Nas X?
I don't.
You don't
I think that's an agenda, man. I think that's exploitation, man.
Yeah.
I don't think that's exploiting the LGBT community, man, for gain, man.
Right.
That's what I feel about that. You know what I mean? Like, no disrespect. I think he, the Old Town Road record was incredible, man.
Yeah.
But I just don't think you need to put I don't think it's important. It's okay if you want to, your truths or whatever, you know what I mean? I just don't think it's important to do that, to leverage a career. And it looks like that to me. Looks like you trying to do the homosexual thing to leverage your career, and you're already a brilliant artist. So, yeah. So I don't really have anything against what he's saying or how he's moving. I just don't. That's my down. So, because I think that, like how me and you talk about street cred and all that, I don't think we leveraged our street cred to sell records. I think we wanted to make a dope record.
Absolutely.
And be known as a brilliant artist first.
Right.
Then if all that stuff comes out, great. So if it all comes out, great. But I don't think you need to have a press conference, do all these campaigns I just don't think you need that.
Yeah, it's very exploitive. You know what I mean? Exploitative.
It is. It's like I tell people like this. I said, why would IKEA make a LGBT couch? They already make all kinds.
Or Coke make a LGBTQ pop.
Yeah. Why would Nike make some LGBT shoes? Why would Converse do that? Why would IHOP make a LGBT pancake?
To promote an agenda.
To exploit it.
Mm-hmm.
To exploit it. To target market to a certain group of people. That's it. That's what corporate does. So why would you do that in something organic like music? You don't have to. Other artists in the past have done that, so why would you do it? I don't care if Elton John's gay. Elton John's a brilliant piano player.
Exactly.
I don't care.
Just like Luther or whoever.
Yeah, whoever. Yeah, whoever we knew there. But I don't care about a singer that's gay. I don't care about none of that. You know what I mean?
Right.
What is that going to do?
Now, you mentioned corporate.
Mm-hmm.
With the whole hip hop genre,
mm-hmm.
Before it became corporate,
right?
It was homegrown.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We had a handle on it. You know, the artists,
mm-hmm.
the fan base,
mm-hmm.
and now they're able to control it, control the narrative, control the algorithm, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Tell you what's good.
Mm-hmm.
Like the stuff that was on the radio then, the Slick Rick or the beatbox Lottie Dottie song, like that was all. It was because the fan base demanded it, so they had to give it to us. And
it hadn't formed as a formula.
Mm-hmm.
It was organic. So when it was organic and nobody knew how to formulate it, in order for you to capitalize on it, you had to let it free flow.
Mm-hmm.
Other words.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're talking about is you got to realize a lot of us reach high success without radio. Never needed it because it wasn't formulated. It was about the kids in college radio, kids at the high schools, and they were playing them at the lunch jams or the student council. The student center, dances and all that kind of stuff at the colleges, right? And we would work those circuits. We would perform at them. We would, go to homecomings and perform, all that kind of stuff. So the music was always about the culture of the streets, or it was cats, car clubs, bike clubs, all that, the neighborhoods. It was the word in the mouth, the word in the streets. Oh yeah, you got this tape, you got that tape. When it became more like a radio formulated situation, that's when we lost control of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because when it's organic, who controls it? The artist
mm-hmm.
controls it, because and that's the true essence of why hip hop got built like it built.
Right.
Like it got built. Because if you think about it, in the beginning, there was no so-called executives that even knew, not no top ones. All executives was like cats like Eazy-E, Jay Prince, Luke Skywalker, people like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Russell, street guys.
Right.
Straight street guys. It wasn't no outside entity came in and I know rap. They didn't know nothing.
Yeah.
So the people that promoted and pushed hip hop, the DJs, the underground, those are the ones who made it an industry. Now, the only way it became an industry is because if it was organic. It's not because it was like a formula.
Right.
Yeah, the formula was like rap, beat, this, but it could form into any kind of rap in the beat. It could rap slow, fast, but they couldn't really ever formulate it because no one outside of our industry of people who were making it could actually make it without us.
Exactly.
See, so now it's turned into where they can say this is rap.
Well,
it's one sound. Instead of it being all organic, because when it's organic, it's different. It free flows. It flows different. It's all different kind of, but it's still on that same level.
And that's why everybody kind of rapping the same now.
Absolutely, because it's formulated. They figured out how to formulate it and say, here's the box. This is what it is. If it doesn't come out of that, you can have it, but this is over the top what it is. That's why you're never going to see it be organic in the mainstream. Or even in the thick of things. Like when we came up, it was in the thick of things. It wasn't, because it never was mainstream then. Wasn't even allowed to go to the Grammys, even being nominated at a Grammy. So.
Yeah. Code 187.
Yeah.
Big Hutch.
Yeah.
Mansa Musa.
Yeah.
Explain that real quick.
Okay. The story on the transition of my name, it's always going to be Big Hutch. That's my family legacy. Brother-in-law is always in the building. It's always going to be code 187. Then the Mansa Musa thing, the word means, the name, if you go Islam, if you go in Islam, it means King Moses. I'm not Muslim. So I used the common words, but the two words mean king, warrior.
Okay.
So when you put it all together, I'm a cold killer, king, warrior.
Come on.
Now you got the new twist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the new Rolls Royce with the nice new front end.
I can dig it.
Classy, sassy, royal, but still hardcore. Straight for a hood nigga and straight we can be on the yacht with it. You know what I mean?
What you working on right now?
Right now we got the album out. Above the Law presents The Resurrection of Gangster Rap. By me, Code 187, Mansa Musa. It guest stars Cocaine. He's the only feature on there. It's 10 G-Funk, new classics.
Come on.
Straight in y'all face.
Any other projects you got coming?
Yeah, I also got an album coming out this summer. Well, 22, summer 22 with Cocaine. It's AOGF album. It's me and his group album, Architects of G-Funk album. Okay. It's called We Have Returned. It's another 10-track slapper.
Yes, sir.
It's a little twist to it. So yeah, y'all gonna really dig that because me and him never done an album together. Even though I produced a lot of his records,
right? We
never done an album together. So yeah, and he's a major part of what we've always done with Above the Law. So me and him wanted to come together and do an album. And got a TV show coming.
TV show,
Black Godfather. Yeah, okay. Starring me. It'll be out next summer.
Man, congrats on that.
Yeah. It's produced by me, directed by me, and my man Zilla from DIA Films. And it's coming out on my own streaming network, MusaTV.net. And that'll be like in May, June.
Okay.
First
You're looking forward to that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
I got a clothing apparel company. I have two.
Is that the Mansa Musa?
Mansa Musa Royal Lifestyle, which is a casual upscale hip hop.
Is it big man friendly? Can I fuck with some of it?
4X. 4X. If you 4X,
I'm gonna get some.
That's as big as I can go. Then I got OG Fashion, which is the all stuff that we came up with, the nostalgia stuff. You know what I mean?
Hey, do you got the Lokes? Y'all had the Loke.
I do have glasses, but I have a double. I have a royal, rich and royal collection. They like Lokes, but they got the double R's on them, real clean.
The Lokes was my shit though back in the day.
We do have a Lokes. We do have a Lokes. We got the specs. We got the Lokes. Like the Tupac specs. We got Lokes. We got all that on MansaMusaRoyalty.com.
Sure enough. Yeah. Y'all check that out, man.
So yeah, OG Fashion, and you can get our record. You can get my record on OG Fashion. You want to get the physical record. You want to get the wax? Is at OG Fashion. OGFASHIN.com. Okay. And that's where you get everything. That's everything, man.
You fuck with the social media?
Yeah. My social media is Mansa Musa Royal on IG, and then it's Mansa Musa Royal. Mansa Musa on Facebook, and then it's the real Code 187 on Twitter.
Mansa Musa.
Yeah.
What you want these people to know before we go, bro?
Just keep God first. Do you. Focus on what's right, being righteous, you know what I mean, and look pushing towards the future because the future is right now, and that's what we work towards. And thank you for having me. That's all I needed to know.
Hey, y'all heard it from the man, the legendary rapper, producer, above the law, Code 187. Yeah, Department 107. It's SB Global. Peace.
Fuck being nice.
Thank you for
I'd rather be feared than life.
Gangsta.
Fuck being cool.
Fuck it.
Niggas take your kindness for being the fool.
Hustler.
Fuck being politically correct.
Fuck it.
I say it straight up and direct.
You a killer.
See, I don't really give a damn. Cause see, I am who I am.
Sick of it. I don't easily approach. Jump out quick, quietly in the load the fofo. Yeah, I'm cut like that. Keep running your pie hole and get touched like that, nigga. I'm rare like a blue lobster. Gangsta on every page like a Donald Goins novel. Yeah, I get money by all means, and I don't never underestimate the next nigga's greed. Nigga, please, drop to your knees. When the real niggas come back out, you bitch niggas quarantine. I keep you niggas under siege, cause you niggas is pitiful. A bunch of weirdos and wannabes. I'm the epitome of checking the bitch nigga. Fuck your pedigree, you don't match up to me, nigga. So same shit, different decade. Nigga love to fuck, eat good, and get super paid.
Fuck being nice.
Fuck it.
I'd rather be feared than life.
Gangsta.
Fuck being cool.
Fuck it.
Niggas take your kindness for being the fool.
Hustler.
Fuck being politically correct.
Fuck it.
I say it straight up and direct.
You a killer.
See, I don't really give a damn. Cause see, I am who I am.
See, I'm a smooth criminal, but not like Mike Jack, nigga. I put the heat to your back, nigga, and make you unempty the safe. That's what happened when you floss on Instagram about the money you make, nigga. I'm rare like a yellow lobster, and snitches get choked out and thrown from a helicopter. I'm nice with the chopper. I'm also a strong black businessman like Marcus Garvey. I'm more American than African. We was doing cool as fuck before you other fuck showed up. So back to the boom and the clap. Back to keeping it real and doing gangster rap. I'm laid back, smoking on the old Lever, Series V, chilling like a true OG. I'm turned up, sipping on Louis 13, living my best life with the woman of my dreams.
Fuck being nice.
Fuck it.
I'd rather be feared than life.
Gangsta.
Fuck being cool.
Fuck it.
Niggas take your kindness for being the fool.
Hustler.
Fuck being politically correct.
Fuck it.
I say it straight up and direct.
You a killer.
See, I don't really give a damn. Cause see, I am who I am. I am a gangster. And this is my anthem. Peace.
Yo, this is Code 187, and you tuned in to Apartment 107. You know what I mean? And that's Code 187, and I'm in your building above the laws here. Stay tuned. Check me out. Apartment 107. Bah! What's up, world? This is Code 187, and you tuned in to Apartment 107 with my main man, my partner, SB Global.